Are you running out of games to play? Is Nintendo sucking you dry? In terms of money, has it occurred to you to give indie games on the eShop a chance? That's right, eShop games are cheap and fun. No money, no problem. Just start mowing some lawns, skipping lame smartphone apps, and cutting back on the Starbucks. There's a great variety of games for a great variety of prices. $20, $15, $10, $5. So stop talking about game droughts and get to playing those eShop indie games. Hello and welcome back to the Wii U 5. I think you got the point earlier, so let's jump into that review of Armillo. Armillo is another Wii U exclusive indie game, at least at the moment. Developed by Fuzzy Wuzzy Games, Armillo presents a simple premise: roll and jump your way through a level. Continuing the tradition of most indie games is a very uncomplicated control scheme. You have one button to boost and one button to jump, and the left stick controls movement, or in this case rolling. In rare occasions, you'll use the right stick to control the weapon. This all comes together rather intuitively with levels that focus on platforming elements from a near top-down camera view. The levels themselves don't entirely present the high level of challenge that many indie games do. To compensate, the game does use the old-fashioned system of having limited lives per level. However, I started my first playthrough on normal and never saw a single game over screen all the way through the end. Without a time limit, there is ample time to learn from your mistake and figure out how to better approach the puzzle or situation. At the end of each level is also a scoring system to help you keep tabs on your performance. The controls and difficulty match up fairly well, never really presenting an insurmountable challenge, but being just difficult enough to give your brain a tiny shakedown. Then there are secret levels, which really aren't so secret considering a certain number of them are required to beat the game. But these levels nonetheless give a similar shakedown to your brain, except as a 2D side-scroller. All in all, Armillo executes its wealth of simple concepts exceptionally well. At a currently very cheap price of $6, you don't need to expect a whole lot of content. On this matter, however, Armillo instead delivers rather well. There's no denying that the wealth of levels, upgrade options, and secret levels far exceeds the content worth anyone would expect for $6. For completionists, this game will offer its price in spades upon spades of content. If you're going to 100% this game, be prepared to put some actual hours in. My initial playthrough only achieved 55% completion and required 5 hours and 27 minutes. I have no doubt that going for 100% could easily add another 50% of time to that, if not more. Content is Armillo's strongest suit as a truly budget-priced indie title, and there is no doubt or denying of this fact. Following Armillo's strongest suit comes its weakest. The graphical quality is serviceable, but clearly subpar in the textures and polygon count area. While graphics are rarely ever an indie game's strength, there is another factor here that affects enjoyment: the frame rate. While the developers have stated they are working on a patch, the frame rate ranges from bad to abysmal. Most of your gameplay will be spent below 30 frames per second, with frequent and jarring hiccups and stutters. Given the visual appearance, this is absolutely odd, as it's clear this game does not push the Wii U. The good news is that this is partially made up for with fantastic music. Much like my last indie game review, Armillo's music involves you, and sound effects from many actions harmonize with the music. Armillo is a good game, but is marred by very odd technical issues on the visual front while not presenting visuals that justify it. Outside of this, everything else is delivered in a rock-solid manner for a game only costing a meager $6. My suggestion if you are interested in this game is to wait for a patch, and then by all means, make this purchase. The love put into designing this game is clear, and the effort clearly deserves recognition. I give Armillo an 8 out of 10. That wraps up my trio of indie game reviews. Seriously, what game drought? Facebook, Twitter, subscribe? Just the usual. See you next week on the Wii U 5.